On this channel, I provide social commentary. My focus will be Black women, as I am a Black woman. In this video, I want to talk about an uptick in anti-Black women representations in commercials. So, for example, I've seen commercials where they show a Black woman and she's saying she's so stinky, and not just her armpits, also down here and pointing down, down out of frame, and right, and those types of things. You've probably been seeing these ads as well, which is likely what led you to this video. They are often showing Black women as heavyset. It's always, it's pretty often an unambiguous Black women. Someone you can tell is a Black woman just by looking at her. There's all these negative portrayals, like trying to show the Black woman as really, really sweaty and all this. I've seen somewhere it's supposed to be an ad for like eye drops. But they end up having the Black woman talking about how sweaty she is and all that. It was just like very strange because her white counterpart in the video is dolled up and made up and, is set up like she's an actress on a movie set. But the Black actress is like supposed to look like, I don't know, like she's, sick or something. It was just very, very strange. So this is not new, and what I'm going to say about it isn't going to be really new, to be honest. If you've been on YouTube a while, clicking around, you've probably seen Chrissy videos discussing Black women's representation in the media, including in commercials and advertising. So this isn't new. One of the very companies that's in a picture in this video, I think Chrissy did a video about them years ago having a problematic representation of Black women, where I think it was like a Black woman proposed to a man or something in the video, even though I think it was supposed to be like deodorant. So anyways, this isn't new, but I just feel like I've been seeing more and more of these ads lately. Like there's like this uptick in recent months. So I just wanted to hop on and make a video to discuss this issue and then provide a few tips, things that you can do as a Black woman to kind of handle and navigate this. So in this video, I'm not going to get too much into the details of why these kinds of representations are harmful to Black women, or why, as an individual Black woman, it upsets me. I'm not going to get into why, it might not bother some Black women and et cetera, because we're not a monolith, because that's true. But there are already videos on that. You know what I mean? Like if you disagree, that's fine. If it's not an issue you're familiar with, there are other videos that will go in depth about it. This video is more for people that have noticed this and it's bothering them, and they kind of just want like that validation, that, space to discuss these things in the comments. But it's not necessarily a video about does this phenomenon exist? Because it does. And so this is the next level of that conversation. So one thing I do want to discuss, though, briefly is why does this happen? Like, why does it seem like there's a recent uptick in these videos, in these commercials in ads with these negative representations of Black women? And I honestly think one reason is the popularity of content from people like Chrissy and others, discussing these harmful portrayals in videos. There's a lot of social commentary on YouTube, a lot of Black women doing social commentary and discussing different things about how we are represented. And I think that led to backlash on some level, where it's like, I think there was a period of time where like the ads seemed like they were getting better and better. And it's like, at the very least, there won't be a Black woman in it. There won't be like a negative portrayal, but like they won't have one at all. Or it'll be a positive representation of Black women in the commercial, something positive, whether it's showing a Black woman of, a variety of skin tones and everything, having fun or being pursued or being outdoors in nature or whatever it is. It seemed like there was sort of an uptick in that kind of commercial, and then things just like took a turn really aggressively to where now it's like I feel like there's like this like storm of negative portrayals in a lot of different commercials targeting Black women. And so I just think part of it is like just sort of backlash for those conversations being had. I think part of it is kind of like, okay, well, when they're criticized and they stop for a little while, but then, when there's not like a maybe modern or very, very recent video criticizing them and going viral or something, then they just turn around and go back to their old ways and do what they're used to, do what they like to do and what's fun for them and what they find, entertaining or exciting, the people making these ads. Okay. So my second idea about why this happens is that, the people making these ads, I would guess, are non-Black women. They're people who like putting out these kinds of representations of Black women, rather than positive representations of Black women that they would otherwise find competitive. It's like it's not in their best interest, or like it's not like something they lay in bed at night dreaming about, is having a billion commercials that show Black women being the number one most desired woman in the world. Do you know what I'm saying? Because since they're not Black women, it's like it doesn't really serve their goals or like their own self-esteem to do that. So those are just a couple of the ideas I have about what I see as a recent uptick in these types of ads. But what I want to move on to is, a different point, which is it's not necessary to put obscene things, on the TV screen, like someone pointing downstairs, like I'm not just, stinky in my underarms or whatever. It's not necessary to do all that to sell deodorant. It's not necessary to put negative portrayals of Black women in commercials in order to sell products. In fact, I think it has the opposite effect. So one example I want to show is this company. I'm not going to play the ad, but, feel free to go and take a look at the ad. It's a funny little ad, a cute little ad, and they're selling full body deodorant, and they have a Black woman. They have a few Black women in the ad, and the lead Black woman in the ad is like, her nails are painted, she's put together. She's like, just very similar to the other women in the ad in her like body shape and body type, like, average small size and weight. She's even glammed up and very glamorous looking, very beautiful with makeup and, just someone like put together in some of the scenes. She has a scene with braids and like, natural hair. And then she has like, it's just, here's an ad where they're selling full body deodorant and they're not relying on negative tropes and stereotypes and putting Black women down. And, even just the broader point, they're not relying on like obscenity and just like, there doesn't need to be any kind of alluding to all the places someone might use a full body deodorant in like a really obscene way. You know what I mean? So it's possible to do this. I mean, especially for a very smart, ad professional, it's extremely possible to do this. They're choosing not to do this. Everything with advertising, media, television shows, movies, every single choice they make is intentional. Like there are people hired to pick out the outfits. There are people hired to do the makeup, to do the hair, to do the casting, to do the lighting, you know what I mean? To do the directing. So all of it is intentional. And so they can choose to make more neutral representations of Black women if they wanted, or if they cared, they could choose to make positive ones. This is an example of that, I would say. But a lot of them are choosing to do the opposite. They're choosing to, put representations of non-Black women, and particularly white women, on pedestals, and then trying to take representations of Black women and, put them down in the shadows, or put them like, in more negative positions, okay, and in the competition that is life, and that is, the way that people work when they're looking at these images. You know what I mean? They're making the Black woman the one talking about being stinky and all this, and being depicted in a certain way and being more heavyset and etc. And then the other women, because you can see some of the comparison commercials, they're not like that. They're not the same. Now, this is not to say that every single commercial with a Black woman in it, she's, they're making her look terrible, or every single commercial, or, with other races of women in it, they're looking great. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just speaking about an issue that's coming up that is a pattern. There's a pattern and practice of doing this. So I'm talking about that theme. I'm commenting on that issue that's clearly going on. But I'm not saying, you'll never find a commercial where they have the Black woman looking put together. Because, here's an example right here. I also want to make a side note, that like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with, a woman being heavy set or, etc. But I'm saying when it comes to representation issues, that's something that comes into play. And so, like I said, that topic has been talked about a lot on YouTube, so I'm not going to get into details on that or debates. This is more so for the like-minded Black women who want to discuss these things and think about these things and are seeing how we're being represented in these commercials and bothered by it, but maybe like don't really have a space in person in real life to discuss it. So that's why I'm making this video. The last part of this video that I want to get into, and really the main part of this video, is to provide some tips and advice about, well, okay, what can you do? These like negative ads are like everywhere, or like these ads keep coming up for me or whatever. Well, I agree with you that they're problematic and offensive. It bothers me seeing that representation of, Black women. As a Black woman, what can I do about it? And if you're not a Black woman and it bothers you, still these tips apply. What can I do about it? Number one, obviously, don't buy the product. I don't buy any of the products in ads like this. Like if I see an ad and it has a negative representation of Black women in it, then I will not buy the product. And use your own discretion. This is your life. Like, you don't need to be sort of like lying awake in bed about which detergent you're going to buy. Like, I'm not trying to add any stress. Keep it stress-free, keep it low key. It's not that serious. Like, do what works for you. If you really want it, that's your life, right? I'm just telling you, this is my advice for coping with these things and kind of navigating these representations of us. And if you want them to stop doing it, hey, if we all stop buying these products, they would stop, doing those ads. They would go out of business or whatever. The ones doing the positive representations of Black women or like the more neutral representations would then get more sales. You know what I mean? So maybe you can just look for an alternative that doesn't have that same negative imagery of Black women, in their advertising. My next piece of advice would be to seek out positive content, to counterbalance negative representations that you're seeing in these commercials or online in general. That can be like, I think Chrissy has a corrective promotion content playlist. There's all sorts of things. Like I found other things on YouTube that are like, someone just makes a compilation of like, there's like this couple from a show that, has a Black woman in it, and you can just watch like all their scenes in one video if you want, whatever, like all sorts of stuff. Like if this is helpful for you, then do that. If it doesn't sound helpful, then you don't have to do it. You know what I mean? Like sort of take the tips that work for you and leave the rest is my approach and what I want your approach to be for this. Next, if it's like this is on TV or something, or something like that, mute it, look away from the offensive commercials. Like this is the perfect time to go on your phone, take a bathroom break. If you've got fitness goals to reach, like you're a gym girly or something, lift your like hand weights that you have, your 2-pound weights or whatever it is that works for you. Do some squats, step in place, jog in place. And then once that 30 seconds are up or whatever, turn back around, you can unmute, watch it, whatever, right? Like whatever works for you. If you're on YouTube, you can skip those ads, obviously. Usually, hopefully, or do the similar. If they won't let you skip, mute it, do your steps or whatever, whatever. Okay. To avoid just like sitting there ingesting that content. Cause that's what I hate too, is like, even after you see it once, they might play it again and you're just like, you already know what's coming in this annoying ad, There's also, if you're on a social media platform, sometimes you can click not interested, not relevant, or even I find this offensive if you want, and you think it would help you. You can do that type of thing. Next point, for me, I find that it helps to hear videos like this and commentary like this, things, being called out by like-minded Black women, because it reminds me that I'm not alone. Watching videos like this, commenting on videos like this can be an outlet if it helps you. For me, I tend to just watch videos like this and then read through all, a bunch of comments from like-minded Black women. And it just really helps me feel better seeing other Black women seeing it too. And, just hearing their suggestions or other comments they have to make in the comment sections, it just really helps me. If this makes you feel worse, then the tip would be avoid these types of videos, avoid the comment section. You know what I mean? If it's going to make you feel worse to kind of see those things being called out, then try to avoid commentary videos that are calling those things out. You know what I mean? You just know yourself and kind of figure that out for you. If you find a sense of relief and like validation, like I do from discussing it, then discuss it, get on the videos, etc. But if you have the reverse effect and it makes you feel worse talking about it, then maybe you don't talk about it. You know what I mean? That's up for you to decide. It's very personal. I'm of the mind that it's better to discuss things like this, point it out, call it out. I think it makes them do it less, the companies. And I think it's just very validating for like all the different Black women seeing it. And there are people who aren't Black, who aren't women, who aren't Black women, who see these same things too. And I've seen them comment on it, complain about it, and point it out. Like, I think it's helpful to point it out and not just be like in silence. That's my preference. But like, you may have a different preference. Another point if it helps you, you could try to find like a general email or a customer email for the company and email them, let you know you saw their such and such an ad and you found it degrading or offensive or, obscene or whatever the case may be. For me, I personally wouldn't do that. I don't care to put my time and energy into doing that. I'm just sharing this idea in case it's helpful for someone else, because maybe you're the type of person who would like get some relief from like sending that off and letting them know your thoughts. So that you feel like someone maybe is hearing your thoughts on the other end and it could have an impact. That's, up to you. I don't know. I'm just sort of spitballing different ideas here. That one, not sure that they would do something about it, to be honest. But if it would help you to do that, then that could be a way to do it. Imagine if 100 different people or 1,000 different people all emailed one company and talked about this one offensive ad. I think that would definitely have an impact. So do with that what you will. The next point of advice I would give is to be the best representation you can be, for yourself, for the Black women and girls in your life. Remember that those representations that you see in commercials and ads and movies and shows, whatever it may be, they don't define you. So, be the best that you can be, what that means for you. Maybe it means you want to make sure you're, looking your best, when you're going out, you took your shower, you washed your face, you put on an outfit that makes you feel happy and like you're going about your day, or maybe you're on, like I said, like you're on a fitness journey, getting in the best shape you can get, right? Woo, Fit 2024. Maybe you're on a hair health journey. Maybe you're thickening your hair, or maybe you're like getting into your skincare regimen, stuff, and you're like experimenting with products and you're clearing up your skin, maybe you're like whatever it is that kind of makes you, that you're working on maybe to like be your best self or whatever, or that you have going on that makes you your best self. Remember that that's you being the best representation you can be for Black women, really. And those representations that people are like staging basically for money, doesn't really define us as Black women or you as a Black woman. I also want to say, the world, I do think that a lot of this, going back to my earlier point about why does this happen? Why are they doing this with these ads? It comes back to like being jealous of Black women. It comes back to, the world's best kept secret really is that Black women are absolutely stunning, magnetic, lovely as a collective. And, trying to put us down, make Black women feel bad about themselves, make the world, make people watching the commercial think all Black women look like this, or, all Black women talk like this, or all Black women are, whatever the negative thing is with the ad, the lines they're giving her to say, right? All that stuff. And so I think it comes back to a place of jealousy and whatnot. And, the bottom line though is you as a Black woman are amazing. You are beautiful. You are brilliant. And you really shine. I think Black women really, really shine and stand out in the most beautiful and positive way. So I think that's the note that I want to end this video on. Thank you so very much for listening. I hope that you join me for my future videos. Take care.